Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next 30 minutes. UK says there are a number of options on the table for Ukraine peace. Zelensky reiterates ceasefire without guarantees will be a failure. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs 7th meeting of National Board for Wildlife in Gir, releases the first ever riverine dolphin estimation report. And Anora sweeps the Academy Awards, wins 5 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director and Best Actress. Adrian Brody triumphs for The Brutalist. Well, first updates from Europe as Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has told British media that a ceasefire without security guarantees for his country would not bring a lasting end to Russia's invasion after allies called for a truce. At a press conference after talks with European allies in London, Zelensky dismissed as not enough the idea that a ceasefire would end the war. Zelensky told journalists shortly before departing Britain that it will be a failure for everyone if Ukraine is forced into a ceasefire without serious security guarantees. He predicted that Russia would break the deal and Ukraine would retaliate. Describing Sunday's talks as a very powerful start, Zelensky said that negotiations in coming weeks will provide a more actionable plan and a better understanding of what Ukraine's security guarantees could look like. Earlier, France and Britain are proposing a partial one-month truce between Russia and Ukraine that would not cover ground fighting. However, the truce would cover air, sea and energy infrastructure attacks. The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced a 4-point plan to work with Ukraine to end the conflict and defend the country from Russia. UK Prime Minister did not state which countries had agreed to join this coalition of the willing, but said that those who had committed would intensify planning with real urgency. He said UK would back its commitment with boots on the ground and planes in the air.
We will keep the military aid flowing and keep increasing the economic pressure on Russia to strengthen Ukraine now. Second, we agreed that any lasting peace must ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and security, and Ukraine must be at the table. Third, in the event of a peace deal, we will keep boosting Ukraine's own defensive capabilities to deter any future invasion. Fourth, we will go further to develop a coalition of the willing to defend a deal in Ukraine and to guarantee the peace.
And speaking at a news conference, Starmer also announced an additional $2 billion of UK export finance to buy more than 5,000 air defence missiles. This comes on top of a £2.2 billion loan to provide more military aid to Ukraine backed by profits from frozen Russian assets.
And today I'm announcing a new deal which allows Ukraine to use £1.6 billion of UK export finance to buy more than 5,000 air defence missiles, which will be made in Belfast, creating jobs in our brilliant defence sector. This will be vital for protecting critical infrastructure now and strengthening Ukraine in securing the peace when it comes.
And the summit of 18 leaders showed European unity at an extremely high level not seen for a long time. It comes 2 days after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's White House meeting with US President Donald Trump ended in acrimony. World leaders have offered a strong show of support to the Ukrainian leader and promised to do more to help his nation. And EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has said that she will inform member states on Tuesday about plans to strengthen the European defence industry and the EU's military capabilities. Her statement comes ahead of EU's Thursday summit. Take a listen.
Tomorrow, I will inform the member states through a letter about the Rearm Europe plan, We need a massive surge in defense without any question. We want lasting peace, but lasting peace can only be built on strength. And strength begins with strengthening ourselves. And that is the purpose of the plan that I will present to the Member States tomorrow, the Rearmed Europe.
Newly sworn-in Austrian Chancellor Christian Stocker took over from caretaker Chancellor Alexander Schallenberg in Vienna on Monday. Stocker will head a three-party government after months of failed attempts to form a new Austrian government. The new cabinet members were also sworn in at the ceremony hosted by President Alexander Van der Bellen. And the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has said that the bloc will propose a plan to rearm Europe this week. That comes after a summit of European leaders on Ukraine and defense in London on Sunday, 2 days after that disastrous clash between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US President Donald Trump on Friday. And DW correspondent Chiponda Chimbelu joins us from Berlin with more. Chiponda, how does all of this affect the EU?
Well, most EU leaders are united in their bid for the bloc to continue supporting Ukraine, but there are two exceptions. Now, the leaders of Hungary and Slovakia, both the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban and Slovakia's PM Robert Fico, weren't at the summit in London. The two leaders are more aligned with Russia on Ukraine. Now, Hungary's Orban has said that the EU should follow the example of the Trump administration and have talks with Russia on a ceasefire and peace in Ukraine. And he said that even a day after that disastrous clash in the Oval Office. Now, while the other EU leaders rushed to voice their support for the Ukrainian leader, Orban did the opposite, and of course, so did his Slovakian counterpart. Now, Fico's rhetoric struck an even harsher tone. He said that Slovakia would not give any financial or military aid to Ukraine. Now, to proceed in unity, the EU needs all its 27 member states to agree. So that is something that we will need to watch out for on Thursday when the European Commission presents its proposal to rearm Europe.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. Moving on, the Vice Chief of the United Nations expressed deep concern on Monday about a fundamental shift in direction by the United States under President Donald Trump, warning that divisive rhetoric is being used to deceive and polarize people. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, told a Geneva meeting of the UN Human Rights Council without mentioning Trump by name.
Partisan support from the United States of America on human rights over many decades, thanks to the generosity and compassion of the American people. I am now deeply worried by the fundamental shift in direction that is taking place domestically and internationally. In a paradoxical mirror image, policies intended to protect people from discrimination are now labeled as discriminatory.
And Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Monday that pledges made by European leaders at a London summit on Ukraine to increase funding to Kiev, including $2 billion air defense missiles deal from Britain, will not help bring about a peaceful resolution to the conflict. He further said that rising tensions between the US and Ukraine shows how difficult it will be to reach a settlement.
Statements were heard over there that funding of Ukraine must be increased. This clearly does not relate to a peace plan, but for the continuation of hostilities. This is our understanding. The rest will depend upon what the peace plan will be developed and brought up for discussion.
Egypt is hosting a meeting of Arab foreign ministers on Monday in Cairo on Gaza. The Arab foreign ministers meeting is being held ahead of emergency Arab summit to be held on Tuesday, where Arab leaders are due to discuss a reconstruction plan for Gaza. After the emergency Arab summit takes place, an urgent ministerial meeting in Saudi Arabia for the Organization of Islamic Cooperation will be held, where foreign ministers will present the summit's outcomes globally. The meeting was called in response to US President Donald Trump's proposal to take over Gaza Strip and move its Palestinian inhabitants elsewhere, including Egypt and Jordan. Trump's Gaza plan has sparked outcry across the Arab world, prompting a rare show of unity among Arab nations to block it. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel has accepted US plan to extend the ceasefire in Gaza by 50 days. In a statement, Netanyahu also said that positions put forward by Hamas for a permanent ceasefire are totally unacceptable. He also warned of further steps if Hamas continued holding Israeli hostages. Meanwhile, Hamas has said that it is committed to the originally agreed ceasefire that had been scheduled to move into a second phase. Under the original agreement, the second phase was intended to see the start of the negotiations over the release of remaining 59 hostages, the full withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza, and a final end to the war. Hamas has rejected the idea of a temporary extension to the 42-day truce. A senior Hamas official has said that the remaining Israeli hostages would be released under the terms of the already agreed upon phase deal. And US tariffs on Canada and Mexico will take effect this Tuesday. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, in a Sunday Fox News interview, confirmed that the final decision on the exact levels, however, rests with President Donald Trump. Initially set at 25%, the tariffs could be adjusted at the last moment. Trump is poised to escalate tariffs on China from 10% to 20%, a move tied directly to Beijing's action or inaction on curbing the deadly drugs flow into the US.
Done a lot. So he's sort of thinking about right now how exactly he wants to play it with Mexico and Canada, and that is a fluid situation. There are going to be tariffs on Tuesday on Mexico and Canada. Exactly what they are, we're going to leave that for the president and his team to negotiate. And obviously, I'm talking to him all the time to discuss what that's going to be on Tuesday.
Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. The European Commission offered car makers more time to meet 2025 emission reduction targets. EU will propose revising planned fines for automakers by allowing them to hit the targets based on fleet emissions over 3 years. At least one person died after a SUV drove at high speed into people in the western German city of Mannheim on Monday. The incident occurred as crowds gathered in cities across regions for parades to mark the carnival season. Michel Paula-Mouet won the award for annual World Seagull Scream Championship hosted in Dunkirk, France. The competition witnesses performers imitating the cries of seagulls shriek, and the best performance clinches the award. The competition is part of Dunkirk Carnival. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Indian Ministers Rajnath Singh and Dr. S. Jaishankar meet visiting Princess Astrid of Belgium in New Delhi. And Ajinkya Rahane to lead KKR in 2025 edition of the IPL beginning March 22nd.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. On World Wildlife Day today, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the Gir National Park in the western state of Gujarat on Monday, where he chaired the 7th meeting of the National Board for Wildlife. The Gir National Park is well known as home to the majestic Asiatic lion. The Prime Minister was seen clicking pictures while standing in the safari vehicle where he witnessed families of lions. On social media platform, PM urged citizens to visit Gir in the future. Later on the microblogging site X, Prime Minister Modi shared some of his clicks, saying, and I quote him, lions and lionesses in Gir. As part of his visit to the Gir National Park, Prime Minister participated in the tree plantation at Singh Southern Campus in Gir. The National Board for Wildlife reviewed various initiatives undertaken by the government in wildlife conservation, highlighting achievements in the creation of new protected areas and species-specific flagship programs such as Project Tiger, Project Elephant, Project Snow Leopard, among others. The board also discussed conservation efforts for dolphins and Asiatic lions and the establishment of the International Big Cats Alliance. During the meeting, Prime Minister released the report of the first ever riverine dolphin estimation conducted in the country, which estimated a total of 6,327 dolphins. This pioneering effort involved surveying 28 rivers across 8 states with 3,150 man-days dedicated to covering over 8,500 kilometers. Uttar Pradesh recorded the highest numbers, followed by Bihar, West Bengal and Assam. Prime Minister Modi also flagged off motorcycles for enhanced mobility of frontline forest staff. PM also interacted with the forest staff at Gir, recognizing their efforts and discussing ways to enhance on-ground conservation strategies. In Belgium, King Philip's sister, Princess Astrid, is on a 7-day official visit to India, leading a delegation of 335 members and 180 companies. On Monday, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh met Princess Astrid and his counterpart Theo Franken in New Delhi. The leaders discussed issues related to the regional security and the possibility of defence engagements in the Indo-Pacific. India's External Affairs Minister also met Princess Astrid of Belgium. He expressed confidence that Princess Astrid's visit will foster greater collaborations for a stronger India-Belgium and India-EU partnership. Earlier, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Belgium's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Maxime Prévost at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. Highlighting strong ties, Dr. Jaishankar emphasized the potential for more contemporary partnership focusing on semiconductors, AI, clean energy, research and innovation.
Have always been good. Belgium was one of the first European countries to establish an embassy in independent India. Today has the possibility of growing in a more contemporary format. We are discussing, semiconductors and AI and clean energy and research and innovation.
India's Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Manohar Lal Khattar, in presence of Rajasthan Chief Minister Bhajan Lal Sharma, inaugurated the 12th Regional 3R and Circular Economy Forum in Jaipur on Monday. As part of the event, the 3R India Pavilion was inaugurated, featuring the International 3R Trade and Technology Exhibition with participation from over 40 Indian and Japanese businesses and startups. A key memorandum of understanding for Cities 2.0 was also signed, marking a significant step in India's urban sustainability initiatives. The forum will adopt the Jaipur Declaration for 2025-2034, a non-political, non-binding commitment to promote resource efficiency and sustainable urban development over the next decade. Speaking on the event, Union Minister Manohar Lal Khattar said that Cities 2.0 promotes vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
जीरो क्लाइमेट एडेप्टेशन और सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी की दिशा में अगला कदम है। 31 मई 2023 को यूनियन कैबिनेट द्वारा सिटीज 2.0 को मंजूरी दी गई थी। ये कार्यक्रम प्रधानमंत्री के विजन के अनुरूप है, जो स्वच्छ, हरित और आत्मनिर्भर भारत की दिशा में एक महान कदम है।
The Indian Yoga Association successfully hosted its 4th National State Chapter Conclave today under the theme The Present and Future. The conclave brought together key stakeholders, yoga luminaries and policy leaders to strengthen the role of state chapters and discuss strategies for accreditation, certification and research in yoga. One of the key highlights was the Yoga Seva Puraskar award ceremony. The event concluded with a keynote address by Sri Ravi Shankar, Chairman, Indian Yoga Association, who also launched the IYA mobile application. And talking exclusively to DD India, Sri Ravi Shankar emphasized the importance of yoga and the benefits associated with it.
Today we have with us Sri Ravi Shankar ji, and let's ask him, sir, tell us about the significance of yoga and how it helps in the body and mind purification.
See, every child is born with these tendencies. If you observe a child from the age of 3 months to 3 years, you will learn all the yogasanas. A child is a yogi. So similarly, yogasanas and pranayama, meditation, all these together we call yoga. And when doing yoga, it enhances your abilities. It makes you free from mental trauma and make you more resilient. There are hundreds of benefits by that. So a sane person remain sane should do yoga. And someone want to be happy, they must do yoga.
For a message to those youngsters especially, and for all those people who want to start yoga?
It's very cool to be doing yoga. Remember, it's a big fashion to do yoga. Do yoga and be smart, and it also enhances your intuitive ability. Okay? Thank you.
So that was Sri Ravi Shankar ji, who said that doing yoga is a very cool thing, and if you want to be sane and enjoy life, one has to do yoga every day. With camera person Yogesh, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in New Delhi.
And India's Ministry of Information and Broadcasting on Monday organized a trailer making workshop in a Bengaluru college as part of the Create in India challenge in the backdrop of the World Audio and Visual Entertainment Summit Waves. Yashwant Shehnai, Regional Officer of Central Board of Film Certification, was present in the event. Wave Bazaar is a revolutionary online marketplace which was designed to connect professionals, businesses and creators across the global entertainment ecosystem. And the 97th edition of the Academy Awards, or the Oscars, honouring the best of cinema in 2024, concluded on Sunday. Hosted by Conan O'Brien, this year's ceremony was filled with both expected wins and surprising moments. Diptanshu Kashyap has the details in this report.
The sex worker drama Anura took home this year's Best Picture at the 97th Academy Awards held at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood, Los Angeles. Other notable honours included Best Actress for Mikey Madison. The film's director, Sean Baker, earned 4 trophies, making him only the second person in history to achieve this feat since Walt Disney. Now, this included Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay and Best Film Editing. Anura also won Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, making it the 4th film ever to win the top honours at both prestigious ceremonies. The Brutalist, about a Holocaust survivor, took home 3 awards, including Best Actor for Adrian Brody, Best Cinematography for Lowell Crawley, and Best Original Score for Daniel Bloomberg. Brody won his 2nd Best Actor award following his 2002 victory for The Pianist. The Spanish-language musical thriller Emilia Paris won 2 Oscars, Best Supporting Actress for Zoe Saldana and Best Original Song for Elmore. The sci-fi epic Dune Part 2 and the fantasy film Wicked each earned 2 awards in the technical categories. Dune Part 2 won for Best Sound and Best Visual Effects, while Wicked claimed Best Costume and Best Production Design. In animation category, Flow won Best Animated Feature, making Latvia's first Academy Award, while In the Shadow of the Cypress won Best Animated Short. In the documentary categories, The Only Girl in the Orchestra took Best Documentary Short, while No Other Land won Best Documentary Feature. Other winners included Kieran Culkin for Best Supporting Actor for A Real Pain, Peter Strumhan for Best Adapted Screenplay for Conclave, and Brazil's Walter for Best International Feature Film for I Am Still Here. Maggie Smith, Gina Rowlands, Chris Christopherson, Gene Hackman, Terry Garr and Donald Sutherland were among those honoured in the Memoriam segment alongside David Lynch and James Earl Jones. The ceremony was hosted by comedian Conan O'Brien, who also paid tribute to the firefighters who risked their lives during the Los Angeles wildfires in January, calling them heroes. With inputs from Diptanshu Kashyap, DD India.
Sports updates now. Cricketer Ajinkya Rahane has been appointed as the captain of Kolkata Knight Riders for the upcoming IPL season, while Venkatesh Iyer got the vice-captain's role. Rahane expressed his excitement, stating, "Leading KKR is an honour. We have a well-balanced squad and I look forward to working together to defend our title." KKR will begin its IPL 2025 campaign against Royal Challengers Bengaluru at Eden Gardens on March 22nd. KKR has won 3 IPL titles and finished runners-up in 2021. An International Olympic Committee's top post contender Sebastian Coe feels that India has strong case to host 2036 Olympics. Although he stated that the competition would be tough with several other countries throwing their hats in the ring. Poland, Indonesia, South Africa, Qatar, Hungary, Turkey, Mexico and Egypt are among other countries which have expressed desire to host the Olympics 2036. India has already submitted the letter of intent to host 2036 Summer Olympics and Paralympic Games to the IOC's Future Host Commission. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.